this might be a wild card, but I'm inclined to say that the people in New York, if you're a New Yorker, like if you're native, they're nicer than in Miami.
Could see that.
I just think that in New York, there's an appreciation for different cultures that there really isn't a lot of tolerance for in Miami.
Okay.
There's something here that's really cool, and it's a respect for different cultures that I've never experienced before, and that I think actually could contribute to making someone not only a better business person, but like a better human, because you learn to appreciate, tolerate, accept, welcome a different way of doing things. Whereas back home, I think it was a bit more like biased, a little bit more rigid. And as much as it feels like home, and as much as the second I saw you, my Miami accent just spilled out of my mouth, and I loved it.
I mean, you'll never lose that.
It is something like really lovely to experience here and really immerse yourself in, because there are such beautiful, beautiful things about other cultures that if I stayed back home, I don't know that I ever would have witnessed.
What is going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of the Stay Tranquilo Podcast in New York City. I can't believe we're doing podcasts in New York City. It's pretty freaking sick. And honestly, this is the person right here that is pretty much responsible for a lot of this right now. She has...
Don't put that on me.
No, it's true. We said it in the last pod we recorded too with TK, and I want to give you your flowers. You've done a ton for us.
My flowers?
And your flowers, yeah, no pun intended.
Thank you.
But, you helped coordinate this, so thank you very much. But before we get into anything, please introduce yourself to the camera and to the people.
All right, so I think my name is...
This is actually the first time we met.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
Victoria Verdeja from Miami. Came up here about 5 months ago now, a little over 5 months ago, pursuing work opportunities and then some. So have been a fan of Stay Tranquilo since its inception. Try to do some deals while I was over in-house on the client side. So have always been a big believer in the things that you talk about here and what you guys represent. So it's a real honor to be on this side.
Yes, thank you for everything you've done, and I'm glad we're doing this. I think it's something we talked about, and at first it wasn't like a top of my mind. Not to take anything away from you. Honestly, like pods in general were not top of mind. I came here for that, Latinos in sports event, and I was like very mindful about like being prepared for that. But I'm like, I gotta maximize my time while I'm out here. And obviously then the podcast started being discussed with you. And then I'm like, we got to do a pod. And I think it was long overdue. We probably could have filmed it in Miami and it just never happened. But I'm actually happy it's happening here.
It's kind of funny. I never thought about it either, really.
I know. I didn't think about it. And then I'm like, wait a minute.
I kept meeting people and thinking they would be a really good guest and just pitching them.
Exactly. But I'm like, shit, we should do a pod. Because I think obviously especially now that you're in New York, there's a lot that we could talk about, and we will, between the differences between New York and Miami. But obviously, also like you're very experienced in space, and I think you could bring a ton of value in that regard. So let's get right into it. You've now been in New York City for 5 months, you said, right? I'm assuming you had been to New York before you moved over here.
Yeah.
A good amount of time. What for you has been the biggest transition in this last 5 months, moving from Miami to New York City?
So there's been a lot of things that transitions that I've experienced. First and foremost, I visited New York many times, and it's funny because I always said I hate New York.
Right.
And there's somebody out there, I'm sure, that when they saw, if they cared enough about what I said, if they saw that I was moving, said, I remember that girl saying she hated New York.
That's fair.
And I ate my words.
Yeah.
But it came as an opportunity, and in the field that I work in, it's kind of the Mecca, right? Like if you make it here in PR, they say you can make it anywhere. So it was a welcome challenge. And so the transitions have not seemed as hard, I think, because, again, it was welcome. But a couple of things in particular, obviously getting around. Like, I have to start with that. I loved my cars back home.
True. Yes.
Every 3 years, I looked forward to my lease being up, getting something new. I know what I would have gotten next. Still salty about it.
It'll come. You'll get the car.
Not in
New York
not
City,
in Manhattan. But the transportation is definitely a transition, and honestly has been a barrier to me doing things sometimes, in the beginning at least, because the thought of like walking out of my apartment and having to like not just being able to jump in my car and go somewhere was kind of daunting.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, I was like obsessed with the subway. And then I saw some weird shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's that Instagram page, Subway Creatures.
Yeah, and it's so real. But at the same time, I know I'm gonna sound crazy, but there's something beautiful about it. Like, I love music. We talk about music all the time. And there's like certain stations that like have better subway performers than others. Like TK and I, you mentioned him earlier, work in Union Square. So that one always has, I mean, today it was weird. There was some weird.
What happened?
Weird sounding. It was like one of those long, I don't even know what kind of.
Are these people in the station, or are they actually on the subway train?
No, well, there's both.
Yeah.
Right? So this guy in particular was in the subway station. Sometimes there's like a jazz band, like young kids that are amazing. I once saw on a weekend getting off in Times Square, which is like my home subway station, which is crazy, living basically in Times Square.
Yeah, that's gotta be a madhouse.
It's like amazing for the first 3 weeks, and then I'm like, I don't want to see another creature. But there was this one performance that I saw, like I was crying, like watching. I was like, I would pay money to watch this.
Wow, like
yeah.
that.
So it's cool. So there's that. There's the transportation aspect. You learn to kind of love the subway. At least I have. Because once you figure it out, it makes things like cheap and easy to get around.
Yes, that's
and it's
true.
always an adventure. So, and for some reason, for the first time in my life, I'm on time to work. It's because it's reliable.
You know exactly at what time it's going to be there.
Exactly.
It's consistent. Like you know when you have to be at a certain spot to get to where you need to be.
Like, I clearly wasn't reliable enough when I had to drive my own
I think Miami
vehicle.
traffic also is just, you
It's
really don't know what you're going to
unpredictable.
get. You're either going to get there 30 minutes early, or you're going to get there an hour late. Like there's no on time.
I just got there 30 minutes later, an hour late. But TK can attest, I've been getting there on time.
That's good. Hey.
Proud of myself.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's the transportation aspect of it. That's really cool. It's cool. It's different. It's interesting. Once you get the hang of it, I think you learn to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Ubers are still ridiculously expensive.
What's up with that?
You just walk.
Yeah.
Just walk. I had blisters for the first.
The Uber from JFK to East Midtown.
I did
which
it
is where
last
we're staying.
night.
What the actual hell? I was like,
Yeah.
I told him, he was like, oh, we're gonna Uber. I'm like,
It's an hour
we're
and
gonna
an hour and $100.
exactly. It was an hour and $100, and then we took the train and it was in the subway and it was 35 minutes and
$3.
Yeah, maybe $5. I'm like, what?
What'd you do wrong? It's $2.70.
What do you mean?
It's $2.70.
I'm rounding it up. I don't actually know how much it was.
$2.70.
But I'm like, it was cheap. It wasn't $100.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because JFK actually has, like, I would say probably the easiest public
super
transportation to get there.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. I
Like,
was thinking,
the
man,
air tram.
I haven't done, exactly. You take the air train and then you jump on the...
at Jamaica on the subway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. See, look, I'm already learning about
I've only
New
done it
York.
once. You've done it as many times as I have.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. So I feel pretty confident about my public transportation in New York. But the subway is very, I guess, unique, you can say.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's just, that was definitely an adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the people. I think that this might be a wild card, but I'm inclined to say that the people in New York, if you're a New Yorker, like if you're native, they're nicer than in Miami.
Could see that.
I just think that in New York, there's an appreciation for different cultures that there really isn't a lot of tolerance for in Miami.
Okay.
Granted, like there's not as much variety in Hispanics or in Latinos here, like there are in Miami. And like, if I want Hispanic or Latin food, I have to cook it because the closest is Uber Eats from the Bronx. It's like frozen by the time it gets to me.
Okay.
But there's something here that's really cool, and it's a respect for different cultures that I've never experienced before, and that I think actually could contribute to making someone not only a better business person, but like a better human, because you learn to appreciate, tolerate, accept, welcome a different way of doing things. Whereas back home, I think it was a bit more like biased, a little bit more rigid, and I don't know. I went to like Miami Catholic high school my whole life. Everybody looked the same, talked the same.
Exactly. I mean, it's a bubble. That world is a bubble.
And as much as it feels like home, and as much as the second I saw you, my Miami accent just spilled out of my mouth, and I loved it.
I mean, you'll never lose that.
Yeah, well, I hope so. But it is something like really lovely to experience here and really immerse yourself in, because there are such beautiful, beautiful things about other cultures that if I stayed back home, I don't know that I ever would have witnessed.
That's fair. That's interesting. Because, I mean, you do obviously have a lot of culture in Miami, like you mentioned, but it does feel different. I think you have, it's not super Latino. You just got like a literal mix of everything.
Yeah.
It is weird to me that you can't find like Cuban food more accessible. I thought you would be able to,
and
but
people are like, oh, you haven't been to Sophie's? Like, I went to Sophie's and it was like, there's no hate, but it was like a bunch of El Salvadorians working at a Cuban restaurant. I'm
right,
like,
it's just not the same.
That ain't right.
Yeah, I mean, Miami's Miami. Like, that's the Mecca. I don't think anyone's going to beat it besides the source itself.
I want a pupusa if I'm going to hang out with El Salvadorians, you know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah.
But it was like, and it's just like the coffee's not the same, the food's made a little bit differently, and I'm like, it's just not, it's not like Cuban food. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. It'll never be that.
I'm gonna have beef now with Sophie's Cuban. But it's fine.
So, another thing that I want to ask you with this whole New York transition, right? You said 5 months ago. I'm trying to do the math in my head, but it's not. It's just not working right now. What month was it that you moved here?
March 30th or 29th.
So you were on the tail end of the end of winter.
Yeah.
Is where I wanted to go.
Our goal is to get me out of New York before winter.
Okay. But like a permanent get out of New York, or just like be a snowbird, basically? You don't know?
I don't know. All I know, it's like 57 tonight, and I'm a little cold.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say like
cold.
tonight's chilly, and it's are we in September officially yet?
We're in September. It's my birthday month.
Oh, September 4th. Yeah, it's September. So you're flirting with fall, which fall's nice.
Mm-hmm. The
Right?
fashion is cool. Oh, that's something. That is something here.
Could wear
That
actual
is-
cool like winter.
No, but the
clothes.
fashion in general
It is big.
in New
I agree.
York is so cool. Like
I love
I'm
a
like,
good peacoat.
I am, forget fall though. I'm like walking to work and I'm seeing these, there is a real appreciation for fashion here that like they say like Tokyo's the only city that has better fashion, like street fashion than New York.
I could see that.
I feel like in Miami it's so hot, like you can't really,
No, you can't.
you
just
can't
wanna be in a
accessorize, you
t-shirt and
can't
shorts.
layer. You're like in like the smaller the clothes, the better, right?
Right.
Whereas here, it's there's like
That
a
is true.
real attention to detail and appreciation
I could see that.
for fashion. And even though I probably wore this to work at Amarant like 4,000 times, this is a bad example.
You just
But
had fashion in you already.
On the contrary, but I'm honestly like learning a lot. I find it super fascinating. I'm not a super fashionista, but it's definitely, caused some inspiration. So that's another kind of adjustment
that,
and cool thing about New York over Miami. I have to say though, like the water, I mean, there's nothing like, I gotta give, because I was on the phone with a friend who was like, you can't shit on Miami. Like I would never.
Right.
My family's there. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And just being able to jump on the boat and in the water, that's like that's my therapy. Can't do that here.
Yep.
So there's no comparison.
I agree. That to me is one of the reasons why I don't think I would be able to leave Miami. Maybe leave Florida. I don't know. Because of that. Like I feel like I need to be by the body of water, and I feel like I tell myself that a lot, and I try to convince myself maybe a little bit with it. Because reality is, like, obviously I lived in Miami my whole life. I don't take advantage of the beach that much, right?
Ew.
It's like
You gotta go West Coast Florida.
exactly,
For that.
which is where I end up going. Like I'll literally go on a Saturday, leave early, and just go to the beach over there, and I'll come back. Like that's how much I would rather be on that side than be on the East Coast when it comes to the beach. So then it comes to the question, I'm like, shit, do I move to the West Coast
It's
of
easier
Florida?
just to go to Bimini, right?
Oh, fuck, yeah. No shit,
You're
but I don't
on
have a
real
boat,
beach.
so I can't do that.
Just call my
I
dad.
mean, I could take the Bimini cruise, I guess, which I don't want to get on that thing. So my next best option is getting in my car.
Learn how to tie lines and give my dad a call, because I'm the only one that knows how to in the family. He's got no one left.
So who does he go on the boat with now?
He doesn't. I come in town and he takes me.
Oh, wow, poor guy.
That's what we did for his birthday in July.
Damn. So you're saying that you have to go back so that your dad can go out on the boat?
Pretty much.
That's what I'm hearing. Well, okay, so fashion, food, right? Subways.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have? We said...
I don't know. We had a long list.
I know. I'm trying to think.
Fashion.
I mean, food scene, though, is good here. You're just not getting a lot of
Oh, wait,
good
we
Cuban
didn't
food.
really talk about food.
What?
Food.
Right, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, the food here
It's amazing.
is insane.
Exactly.
It's good because I feel like back home you get like a lot of, it's less about the food and more about the pinta. You know what I mean? Like
True that.
the
It's an experience. It's an experience in
and
Miami where here it's true authentic.
it's the food.
Yeah.
And I mean, it depends on what you like, right? Like if you like the Grutman scene, like that's super cool. But here it's really about attention to detail in the food and the experience within the concept of the food, less about the ambiance, if that makes sense.
I can see
Even though
that.
the ambience obviously pays attention, it's less like clubby.
Yeah, I
stuff when
mean, you still have that component, I guess, if you want it here.
Yeah,
in New
you can
York,
find
right?
it,
Like you can go and
absolutely.
find it. But I agree. Like you go downstairs, you walk around, and you're gonna find probably a little
God.
diamond restaurant somewhere that
I
you're like,
got
holy shit.
Tim Ho Wan, literally, you walk out of my apartment, you go around the corner, and it's the world's most inexpensive Michelin star restaurant. It's a dim sum spot. You can spend between two people $50 and walk out of there rolling. And it is the...
Now, you see, that doesn't exist in Miami.
No.
Like, not even...
No.
I couldn't even give you a name of a place.
The pizza that we just ate, tell me that wasn't bomb.
That shit was amazing. But is that true New York style? Because it was a little... I always thought New York style was, like, thin.
I'm a thick crust,
I
girly.
was fine with it. I thought it was delicious.
It's
My
Sicilian
question
style.
is
Is what they call it.
Got it. Okay.
It's probably more like Chicago style pizza.
That's what it gave me the vibe of. But listen, I'm not complaining. It was delicious and it was really good, and I appreciate it. So thank you.
What else? But no, they've got some crazy good stuff. I've gone eating in Chinatown, and I've been to like Chinese Tuxedo, which is super nice. And then also this place called Family Noodle that was hole in the wall, one-time order.
Okay.
It was absolutely phenomenal. You get a little bit of everything. Like this amazing Italian food. We had amazing Thai food, and like that I'm an Achana's stan, but it's like a Michelin star Thai restaurant here that actually TK took me to.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's absolutely bomb.
You see, that's one thing. Like every time I've come to New York, I haven't explored the food scene. I've done like some of the touristy stuff, but every time I've come, it's always been in December, so it's hard to explore. It's too fucking cold.
Yeah, you just gotta I've come in December too. You've gotta really plan.
I've done that's the thing.
You can't just walk
plan.
around. You've gotta plan your destination from A to B. Otherwise, you're gonna freeze.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Winters are brutally cold, so I think you getting out of here before winter would probably be a good thing if you can.
Don't tell TK that though.
No, I won't tell him that. He's not here, so he didn't hear it. But I couldn't do a winter here. That's the one thing I couldn't do.
I'm staying. I gotta figure it out. I gotta get myself a good coat. So if anybody knows, let me know.
So now 5 months here, right? You got your job with your current company.
Yeah.
Which is?
I am business group director at RxMD. It's a communications and medical affairs agency that services pharmaceutical and biotech clients.
Okay.
It's a lot of words.
How did you come about getting that job? Because when you moved to New York, did you already have a job in place lined up?
Yeah.
Or was okay, so you did. Okay. It wasn't like you said, screw it, I'm going to move to New York and then figure it out from there.
No. It costs a lot of money to live in New York.
No, I know, but yeah, people have money saved. Some people are a little bit more, risk takers.
Yeah. No, they actually relocated me.
Oh, so you were employed by them in Miami?
No.
Where?
They flew me up for the final interview.
Oh, okay, got you. Understood. Then you got the job, and then we good?
One of the legs kind of fell off.
Oh shit! You scared me. Jesus Christ! I was like, oh shit.
At least it wasn't me.
The thing is, I can't really see what's.
It was on the edge, and it kind of just slipped off, and I just kind of felt it go down.
Oh God.
I thought I broke the chair, but
I thought a couple of things happened. I thought the camera fell first, and then I'm like, oh God. And then I thought you fell, and then I'm like, no, he didn't fall. And then I'm like, what's going on back there? Okay. Let me get to where we were. Okay, relocation. So when you came to New York, you were relocated by the company that you currently work with.
Yeah.
You did the interview, and they're like, hey, we want you to work for us. We're gonna move you to New York City.
Yeah, and it was interesting because they relocated me, but then they weren't like. It was weird. They were like, "We'll make you business group supervisor," and I'm like, "That's not really." It was like a backwards jump from where I was at Amarant, and so in the first, I'm gonna give myself a little small kudos, but in the first 60 days, they did give me a major promotion, and I think that really helped solidify my own confidence in the move.
Yeah.
And that I had done the right thing, because they believed in me enough to do that.
Yeah.
So
it's not easy to pick up and say, hey, I'm moving to a whole ass other state.
I have this weird thing where I really don't like to make things easy. I don't know.
I feel you. Neither do I. That's why I do what I'm doing, because I could have made my life a lot easier, and I wouldn't say this is the easy path.
Is that why we're friends? We're just
maybe. Yeah, we understand.
I gotta prove it. I gotta do it.
But obviously, it's a testament to, although it may not be easy, you obviously enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
And you're willing to do the uncomfortable to make it happen, and that might involve moving to a whole other state.
Do it scared.
And exactly, and just trust that whatever comes out of it will be the right decision.
But it was really a full circle moment for me, honestly, because the types of work, like the types of clients that we service it's not like we do have some big pharma clients, and it's really cool because it's job security. But
True. Yep.
my favorite ones are those that I'm more involved with, and it's one that works in the addiction space. So we've got this one client that produces a product that's like a competitor to Narcan. And then we have another one that assists with like opioid addiction treatment, like long-term treatment. And it's, I mean, I basically, I'm a glorified storyteller. Like that's what I do for a living. What I've always done. And the stories that you get to tell within that space are not like, they're so heavy. You really do feel like you're making a difference. And it's not like you've got the CEO that's like just trying to make bank, right? This guy is like, I genuinely want this company to not exist at some point, and that means that we did our job. So that's cool.
He's basically leveraging the power of PR to kind of fix a problem that's out there.
But outside of the PR space, like I think he really believes in the products that he's selling.
Exactly.
And in particular, the one that assists with addiction recovery. Like they really do like drink the juice in the sense that it's not just like sales. Like they really do believe it. And that for me was that's an easy, it's a hard sell in practice, but it's such an easy sell from like a heart standpoint. And another client that I have is, which is my primary client, has this, what I like to call like a microwave. It's literally like this big. And what it does is it like helps with assists with the manufacturing of cells. So when there's something.
Are these US-based companies or are they international?
The one I'm talking about right now is UK based, but has a quarters in the US, and then the first one is headquartered in the US. But this one, so they're in the area of cancer treatment, and like it's also used for sickle cell and other things, but particularly cancer treatment. There's a therapy called cell and gene therapy that's kind of new. And it's very effective, but because of the hurdles in manufacturing this type of therapy, basically you're manufacturing cells. What they do is they take your cells, your bad cells, they train them in a petri dish how to fight your cancer, mass produce them, and put them back in your body.
Damn.
And so it's so cool because it's the things that the things that kill you and all of the cancer. They say you have to survive the treatment more than you survive the cancer. So this eliminates that.
Wow.
That aspect.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. And this is basically like a pressure cooker for cells, which assists in the manufacturing of these therapies. It's really, really freaking cool. So hard to explain.
No, I mean, shit. I wouldn't even.
It's so hard to explain.
I mean, it's crazy that there's people out there, that are this intelligent, right? To be able to even think about that as being something that is achievable, right? I'm always like amazed when it comes to science and research, especially like on the medicine side, right? Because it's been a problem for a long time, and people have been trying to figure it out. Yet there's always an evolution to this, right? And I think a lot of what exists today is through obviously research that has been done over the years.
Yeah.
But shit, like you got to be a freaking genius to be able to think, hey, you know what? This doesn't exist now, and we should do it this way.
I have so much respect for them.
Yeah, it
and
is
even
impressive.
the guy that said, let's make a freaking business out of it. Let's make
exactly.
Because at the end of the day, people are only going to invest in things that make them money.
Of course.
So he said, you're like, okay, let's get a win-win scenario
the
here.
The nature of a business, though, is like where there's a problem, you need to provide a solution, right? And
I saw it firsthand when I was working at Baptist for 3 years. At the end of the day, nobody likes to talk about it, but if we want to keep treating patients, you need to find a way to make money. And so what happens is these health systems have to get creative because the hospitals are all working at deficits. So then they start going into like outpatient centers or in this case, was like imaging centers and physician practices and all these things. So it's like, how can we basically offset the money that we're losing in like the ERs and in the hospital stays, because
Right.
you can't turn people away.
Yeah.
But that's like, we could talk about that for years.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it obviously seems like you're very passionate about, where you work. But let's kind of rewind, right?
Yeah.
Like how you got to where you were. When we met, you were working at Amarin Bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that obviously wasn't your first job. Where did your kind of career begin in the world of PR? Was PR always something that you wanted to do? Was that like
No,
I'm gonna do PR? Was it more marketing? Like how did you get into the space?
I was a civil engineering major when I got to
Holy
US.
shit. Okay.
I loved physics. I was a freaking nerd.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was like an undercover nerd.
It's funny. It's a very common theme that people that in their current job or occupation or whatever endeavor that they're doing does not match what they went to school for.
Well, I mean, I ended up getting
No, I
a
know,
PR
but like
degree,
you
but I started.
didn't start. I mean, I started pre-med. Look at that. Took a chemistry class. I'm like, nope, this is not for me.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad. Every time I changed my major, my dad was like,
I'm so happy I didn't like it after freshman year. I was like, fuck this. No
I don't
way.
know. I would have liked to do something like that. I just didn't know I would be passionate about it until later. And then I said, well, I can't do it, so I might as well do PR in that same space.
Right.
But anyways, I started civil engineering at UF. I was partying super hard, having a great time, and I had a little bit too much fun in high school. Didn't really pay attention too much in chem class, and didn't cut
Very
it.
fair.
Didn't cut UF chem. It is a weed out class in my defense, but yeah.
It weaned me out.
But then I switched to marketing, and oddly enough, my dad, who has a marketing degree, international marketing degree from Miami, from UM,
Boo.
was like, no, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. He had really high hopes for me. So I switched to finance, and then I'm not a finance person. My dad can now attest to that, as he helps me still.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So then by the time I got to PR, and there's a whole long backstory, and we can save that also for another day. But by the time I got to PR, I was, he said to me, oh my God, I don't care,
just pick something.
Graduate.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So my first PR internship was at Rock Orange. Rock Orange is owned by two guys, Miguel Piedra, who's the Rock, and David Naranjo is the Orange.
Okay, gotcha.
They were, Miguel was, and I might not be 100% right here, so bear with me, but Miguel, I believe, was leading the PR team for RBI or for BK, and then when it got bought out by RBI, they eliminated their PR team. They created this agency and then got hired by RBI to carry out BK's PR. So that was a really, really cool experience.
Very
really
cool.
Good people.
That's a great place to start.
Oh my God, I give them all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
I still keep up with David and his wife, who work there also, Paulina, to this day. But they were just incredible people to work for. I was like 19 years old. And they really did make me fall in love.
Like I said, it's a great place.
Fall in love with it.
It's a great place, great culture. I mean, especially like if for anyone that doesn't know, Restaurant Brands International is RBI, and they represent Popeyes, BK, and a couple other spots. But there's a good culture there from what I've heard, and obviously it's one of the larger brands out there, especially in that space where that they know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
And it's always good to be a part of that, especially like at your stage at 19 years old, where you're learning from some of the best.
Not to date myself, but that was in 2015.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I imagine it's changed so much since then.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what's going on there anymore,
yeah,
but
no,
back then.
I mean, it definitely looks like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think I have enough of an understanding of the marketing world to be like, okay, like I get it, like I see it.
Remember the sandwich?
One of the best things
Popeye
they ever
sandwich?
did was they created a competition when the whole chicken sandwich thing was going on, right? And they did a commercial of which sandwich was better, the Popeye sandwich or the Burger King chicken sandwich. Which
Fun.
yeah,
They
everyone's
win.
like, oh my
It's a
God.
win-win.
Oh, I'm gonna go try them both. And RBI's like, fuck yeah, you are. Hell yeah, go try them both. Let us know which one you like more. Oh, you like Popeyes more? Oh, you like Burger King more? And They're like, fuck, we don't give a shit.
Fucking genius.
It's genius.
You know, the craziest part is my at the time that was happening, my boss's boss, I was at Baptist while the chicken sandwich situation was happening.
Yeah.
She had actually left to RBI as their comms director of some sort.
Nice.
So we would text her every once in a while. I was like, COVID, Popeye chicken sandwich. I don't even know if COVID had rolled around yet, but I think maybe she was back by then. But I mean, we were like, what the heck is going on with this sandwich? She's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you have no idea. I have a headache and it's a sandwich.
It worked though. But the irony of going from Baptist to a fried chicken place and being like,
And back.
yeah, that's funny.
Shit. But I did that a couple of times too. So then after Rock Orange, I did my 2 last years at UF, graduated with a PR degree, went to República, which is now República
Another
Habas.
great place. Yep.
Yeah. I was media buying for them, which is totally not.
You did do media buying.
I told you, I've done everything.
Wow, you were in the media buying world
I've
too.
done
I did media
everything.
buying too for a while.
I even ran Google Ads campaign. I was doing their Google search campaigns. Actually, Baptists, oddly enough. I was working on the agency side at República, and Baptist was my client.
Oh, okay.
I was doing their like Google Ad and Google search and Google display campaigns, which I soon realized was not for me because I was like stuck behind a computer and like,
yeah, no, it's I didn't like that.
I
world
like to
either.
talk to people.
Yep.
Media buying was cool because I talked to people all day long, but I got to a point that I was like, you know, I have this PR degree, UF journalism. The school is like has been ranked in the last 5 years nationally ranked #1. I was like, I'm proud of this degree. I got to use it. I love it.
Of course, yeah.
And so when the opportunity presented itself to go to Baptist to do PR, I left and I went to do that. So I worked there for 3 years. I worked there for a year and a half during COVID.
Oh, wow.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was just like make it or break it. I was working the vaccines
No, everything.
distribution centers. We were always like all hands on deck, and nobody had an ego about it, and it was awesome. It was just like, how can we help? It was an incredible experience, and then from there to Amarant as their, what was I?
Director of Communications.
No, strategic communications manager.
Oh, I thought it was Director of
And then I went
Communications.
back. I left back to República and then back to Amarant as their vice president, corporate communications officer.
That's what it
Don't
was.
put
Oh, you see-
director on me.
Well, I knew you as of a more, you know, I guess senior level role at Amarant. I didn't know the first part, and then you left, and then it's hard to keep up, honestly.
But I feel like in today's day and age, in the field that I work in, you kind of have to do that
Maybe
to move
you know
up.
it better than I do.
You kind of have to do that to move up
Yeah.
quickly.
Yes, I could see that, right? Where especially in today's, I guess, modern corporate America world, right? You sit at a company for 5 years. Let's say you get a 3 to 5% raise every single year. Shit doesn't mean anything, you know.
No.
Where you can go and just leave the job, either get a promotion or just get a better salary in the same role. I mean, there's
You
no
gotta
hiding
fight
that
for
at this
yourself
point.
at the end of the day, because
100%.
nobody's gonna fight for you. As
No,
much as they like
1000%.
you, as much as they're your
You
friends,
know your value.
as much as they call you, you know, whatever. Like I was always in my roles, I've always been the youngest, right? So little kid, little whatever. No, until the day that you're not making the money anymore, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So it's
gotta look out for
business.
yourself.
It's business at the end of
100%.
the day, and I think that you need to ask yourself, am I still learning? And the second that answer is not blatantly yes,
Love that.
you move.
100%. I felt that, you know, in my previous life. I mean, this is, I don't know, a couple years ago already, but I could feel that. You know, it felt like stagnant, where I was like, I'm not. I learned a lot there, but I felt to a point where I'm like, damn, I'm not learning anything anymore. I don't feel like I'm improving here.
But it could have nothing to do with the place either.
No, 100%.
And everything to do with the
that's what I'm saying.
circumstances,
There's
with
no one
you,
to blame.
you
It's
know?
just, it's the circle of life and the cycles of life that you go through, where reality is you got what you were supposed to get out of that, and now it's for the next chapter. And I think you do have to have a level of awareness with that, because you could get stuck and complacent in these places and just say, hey, this is for me. But
And I did.
Yeah, 100%. But I think that comes from you too, because you're ambitious, you're hungry, you're motivated. You also know your strengths and your power, that if you don't feel that in the place that you're at, you're gonna want to leave, because it's just innate and within you to go and be better somewhere else, right? Because you could provide more value. And it has nothing of to talk bad about where you were or anything like that, because it has nothing to do with them. It's a strictly you thing. And we're 20, we're in our high 20s, mid 20s, whatever you are, soon to be 30s, right? I didn't say you. I'm just saying it for the general audience. 40s, 50s, I mean, whatever you are.
Okay.
Whatever age you are. It doesn't even matter what age you are.
It's too close to not hurt.
Well, listen, I was not directing anything at you.
It's too close to not hurt.
For all you know, you could be 22. I don't even know how old you are. But reality is, no matter how old you are or where you are in your life, it's up to you to make that decision of what is of importance to you and what works. If you're fine with where you're at and you're happy, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you feel that discomfort of just being unsatisfied with where you are, and just like you said, to me, growth is joy. Like, growth is happiness.
No,
for me.
but it's also uncomfortable.
But it does come with a level of uncomfort, right? Like, you're gonna have to have difficult conversations and make difficult decisions where you might be leaving a good job, right? Or you might be leaving a good position. You might be leaving a good team, right?
But I think sometimes other people. You made a comment earlier about being, in the right place and whatever, all this stuff. I do think that applies in this context as well.
Right.
Because I got to be honest, I didn't want to leave Amarin.
I know.
I was super comfy, super happy. Amarin, the stadium, arena deal.
Right. All these things were happening.
I was having so much fun. Mm-hmm. And someone said to me, and I wasn't happy about it at all when I heard it, but I'll give her the credit. She said, aren't you bored? Like, isn't, like, this isn't for you? And I'm like looking at her like, this is for me. What are you saying? And she kind of she put me in that uncomfortable position where it made me realize, and I say this about how I ended up in New York, like, I needed to change and I needed a challenge. And when I'm not, me personally, when I'm not challenged, I get bored. I start, vacilando. I'm like, I'm like a little kid. Like, if I don't keep my eye like on the prize, I kind of astray, go astray.
Just kind of start drifting.
And so I think that it was one of the hardest things I've done. It was probably one of the hardest things I've done, but one of the most rewarding is getting here. And even though it's not been easy, just being like, we're in New York.
Yeah, exactly. You have to give yourself credit too.
This is a hard place.
Fuck yeah, no, dude. I mean, you can make the argument it's definitely harder than Miami.
I'm like, I gotta call an Uber because if I go on the subway right now, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. We were literally talking about that. That was our rationale. We take the train here and then we Uber back.
I did the same thing.
that was our rationale.
I told my mom,
if we're gonna do the Uber, it's gonna be later, not now.
I promised my mom.
Yeah.
Damn, we had so many other things that we had to talk about.
Yes, we did. But really quick on that point, you obviously said that, like, you kind of like you're back against the wall and you kind of like that uncomfort when you moved over here.
There must be something wrong with me, but yeah.
But when you did make that decision, right, where you end up leaving Amarin and then you put yourself in this uncomfortable situation to come here, do you feel more confident saying that now that you've been here for 5 months? Or did you genuinely have that confidence to say, yeah, I'm going to put myself in this uncomfortable situation?
No, I was a disaster. Yeah. I was like in a super bad place. I didn't know what I was doing, honestly. It was like one foot in front of the other at that point. And I've been in that point in my life before. But after having accomplished what I had and being back at that spot where I was literally one day at a time, one foot in front of the other, it wasn't planned.
Yeah.
And I think that the same way that I put one foot in front of the other to get up out of bed, I put it to book the interview. I did it when I got dressed to take the flight to come here. I did it when I accepted the job.
Yeah.
I did it when I called Victor Ruiz and I said, I need a roommate. Do you know anybody in New York? And he connected me with my roommate now.
You see that level of synergy in a moment like that,
I don't ask questions. I just know that I'm where I'm supposed
almost
to
like
be.
solidifies that you're making the right decision.
Yeah.
I'm always not 99%. I wouldn't say 99% of the time, but a majority of the time, I'm pretty skeptical about the decisions I make. They're
You gotta trust your gut.
exactly. There's a level of trust and optimism in everything that I do because, like you said, I trust my gut and I trust my instinct, but nothing's certain. Nothing's guaranteed, right? So you're gonna obviously have a little bit
It
of
never
doubt.
is, though. It never is.
And which is why you have to almost take that leap, right? Because nothing is guaranteed. Would you rather live with the regret of not doing it or live with at least the fact that you did it, you tried, and even if you failed, you at least know you did it?
I learned at a very young age that life is short, and
Yeah.
I've been living balls to the wall since then. Sin pena.
And listen, that might not be for everyone, but shit.
No, it's not.
If it works for you, I think that's a good way to continue to live, right? Because the stars will just kind of align themselves in the way. You find the roommate, you find the job, you find your friends,
It
you
all
find
works
your
out.
people. It
It all works out. At the end of the
magically
day, if you're
finds a way.
you're praying to the right person, and
exactly.
you're doing right
It'll just line up.
by your people. Well, life has a way of working itself out, and I've been
Mhm.
I'm not naive enough to admit I've been really, really lucky.
Yeah.
I have
It's
an
part of it.
incredible support system. My
Mhm.
family is actually the best, and has made this move the hardest
Right.
because I'm far from them.
Of course.
But as long as you have like the right people in your court, my friends are amazing.
Mhm.
There's nothing you can't do.
Yeah. No, it's true. It does take a village, even if they're not here.
And that's because we're like smart people. There's some people out there that I wouldn't say that to. But
No, but I agree. But listen, that's what separates, people like ourselves from other people, and it's a reality of fact. And I don't say this in an arrogant way or, in a demeaning way to anybody else, but I do think people like ourselves just bring a different energy to the table, and
Yeah.
that's why we're able to do the things that we're able to do. And it's not to make me larger than anybody else or, make anyone feel smaller in the process.
it's just like a respecting, like real knows real. And it's
Exactly.
why I like
And I think
I
we all
love this
serve a purpose in
platform.
this world, and some people are just carry a certain energy and demeanor to them.
But they serve,
than
but
others.
everybody serves a purpose.
Exactly, 1000%.
Everybody serves a purpose. I think that ours is a little bit louder.
Yep.
Plus
Plus we're Cuban, so
yeah, we had that gift.
exactly. It was kind of guaranteed. But the next kind of thing that I want to get into, right? Obviously, you're here in New York. You've been in this PR and marketing world for a long time.
hmm
What would you say over, I guess from the beginning of when you started to now has been like one of the biggest changes in that, I guess, overall media, but also the PR landscape?
So there's two things in particular that I think have really changed the landscape, and the first is AI.
Okay. Interesting.
I got my master's in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
and AI wasn't a thing. Like, I got my master's in marketing in December
And it
of
wasn't even a
2022,
discussion.
and AI was not a discussion. ChatGPT hadn't launched yet.
It's true, yeah.
So the fact that now ChatGPT and all these others have entered the chat, and we're cranking written, like what would take hours doing a press release, messaging documents, analyses of articles, analyses of reporters, all this stuff that would take hours upon hours upon
Yeah.
hours, you throw into ChatGPT and you get it in 5 minutes.
This is true.
And it's an absolute game changer. You cannot rely on it fully, but the fact that it gets you like 60-70% of the way there is like, there's no being successful in marketing and communications nowadays if you're not using AI, because
Absolutely.
you're gonna end up last.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
Point blank.
Just the level of efficiency that it provides.
I'm like, my interns are like cranking shit out every 30 minutes with ChatGPT, and I'm like, okay.
I saw an Instagram video the other day, and it was like, I think it's a tool that you have to learn how to use too.
The prompt is
Yeah,
everything.
It's crazy.
There's an art
It's
to the prompt.
Exactly. There's an art to the prompt. That's exactly what I was going to get to. It's like you could just say, "Hey, ChatGPT, what is this?" or "Do this for me." But the level of granularity that you can get into, and the specifics in your demand and the prompt can like change the dynamic of what you're able to get out of it.
I totally used it today. I'll give you an example of where you can't use it.
Okay.
Today, I was applying for like late show, like like shows based in New York City, like to get tickets.
Okay.
Like Jimmy
gotcha.
Kimmel, for example. You had to provide like a rationale why like you deserve the tickets. And I like
You have to apply to get tickets to Jimmy Kimmel's show?
yeah. So I threw that shit in ChatGPT and I'm like, assume the identity of a 29-year-old who just moved to New York City from Miami, who's super excited, who does PR, who da-da-da-da-da, and tell them why I deserve to have tickets. It cranked it right out. Then I was doing the same thing for SNL tickets, and I wrote that by hand because I had to say
Okay.
that this is the difference between like what ChatGPT can and can't do. I'm like, when I was a baby or like a little kid, my nickname became Cheeky Monkey because of the Simon skits with Mike Myers where he would say Cheeky Monkey.
Yeah.
So my uncle, my godfather started calling me Cheeky Monkey and it stuck.
That's a good entry.
He
right
calls
there.
me that to this day. You can't tell them that Marcelo Hernandez went to Belen and I'm from Miami and I was watching him at Taurus stand for open mic. You know, that's the difference of when you can. I mean, it's a stupid. It's a stupid example, but it's real. It's something I actually did today. So please give me the tickets.
Don't worry, we're gonna create our own SNL show soon, and you have unlimited invites.
We're gonna have fans here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it would be here, but we'll have it soon.
In TK's backyard.
Could be one of the spots, I guess.
But that's like that just to show, exemplify how it can and can't be used. But the other thing that has changed the game is that virality, which is not a word. I looked it up when I was writing my notes for this.
It's not a word.
Virality is not, but Merriam-Webster, I'm saying it's a word now. Virality, not vitality, virality. Basically evens the playing field, I think, because anybody can go viral.
Hawk Tua.
But
I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I gotta be honest. I have a few like TikTok reposts of my favorite one. Hold on. My favorite one is like a Greek restaurant of a guy with a bunch of skewers. She does the Hawk Tua and it's the tzatziki getting thrown in his face.
No, I mean, God, it's the internet. God knows what people. I mean, that was
like she's a disgusting example, but she got her bag. But like,
I mean, it. And I don't want to. We don't have to go down a rabbit hole of it, but it does speak to the virality aspect, where at any given moment,
can go viral.
Even if you're not expecting it, could change the dynamic of your life. Like, I mean, shit. Look at us. Like, we've been doing this for a while, and obviously we've grown in a very organic and slow way. But shit, you see that, and you're like, wow, that made her famous.
Well, the flip side to that is cancel culture, which is another thing that's
really,
really changed. And that's a scary, I think it's a kind of a scary thing because you can do everything right. You can have the best intentions and then
one thing can fuck it up.
And granted, I love it because for me, it's job security, right? Crisis
Yeah, because we're going to call you and be like, hey,
fix this mess.
I made a mistake.
And I'll have to sit there and figure out how
And in today's age, too, the smallest things could be the biggest mistake.
Well, that, and I think the most important aspect of PR is actually mitigating it before it gets to become a mistake.
True. Yes, absolutely.
It's making sure that
it doesn't get out of control.
What you're saying isn't, or what your creative looks like. Like, I don't know. There's like, I feel like there's hidden penises and everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like there needs to be somebody with a PR hat looking at everything.
Just ready to catch it.
You're like the glorified gloom and doom.
Yeah.
Because you sit there and you think about all the different ways that it could be dissected, that it could be looked at, read, viewed, and you say, okay, no, this one actually kind of passes the test. Granted, you lose a little bit of creativity there, I think, because it ends up being a little bit washed.
But what about the fact, like, do people need to like live in more fear now in the way that they go about producing content?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or just and anything that they do?
And I think it's even bigger than producing content. I think it's like you need to be careful about your daily life. Like,
sure.
We used to make stupid comments. We used to say stupid things because in the name of a joke. Like, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And whether it was right or wrong then and right or wrong, I'm like,
You're not, yeah.
not in the position to go down that rabbit hole. But it's what you have to understand is that these things have a life beyond the way that you intend them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Your intentions could be great,
Right.
super pure, genuine, but at the end of the day, if somebody misinterprets it or takes it out of context, you're fucked.
Yeah. It's all about perception.
Exactly. And that's why I think being in New York and experiencing all these different cultures kind of gives you a little bit of a one-up, because the amount of different perspectives that you see,
You're kind of getting an understanding of what the people care about, what it is that they look, how the way they look at things.
I didn't mean to make this a full circle, but
you did. You brought it all back home. All right, podcast over. Thank you very much. No, I'm just kidding.
They're probably like, yeah, please.
No. I'm talking shit. No, but it's true. I think you bring a really interesting point of the fact of, like, you can have the intention correct, you can have, you know, kind of the thought process behind it and the rationale, and even have insights behind it, right? Because there's a ton of people that do consumer insights before they kind of inform decisions, yet the perception of the consumer could be completely different than what you expected.
Yeah.
I do think some of that can be mitigated through some sort of testing before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
That's what I'm here for.
So, you know, you can kind of test the market, you could, you know, get qualitative and quantitative data beforehand.
Oh, no. I mean, once it's out, it's out. But
I'm saying before it gets out to the masses.
I think you have to have somebody on your team with that lens to be looking at. Again,
are we a PR nightmare?
Are you a PR nightmare?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she's thinking about it. I thought it was going to be an easy no.
I mean, no, I don't think so. I was gonna give you a real honest answer.
Okay,
I don't think so. I haven't seen.
Shit.
And I'm like I sit there, I watch all your shit.
I know, that's why.
I'm like your most loyal one
follower
on
like,
TikTok.
If anyone sees our shit, it's definitely her.
No, it's good. You're good. I mean, some of your guests, maybe. I don't know.
Offline, you gotta tell me.
Just kidding.
Him?
I'm the guest that's a wild card. Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad. I mean, yeah. I mean, also, the bigger you get, the bigger the problem. That bigger problem.
That's
becomes.
Another thing. You got more eyeballs on you.
Yeah. So how about a guy like Dave Portnoy? That guy essentially is a PR nightmare, yet he still always finds a way to get on top.
And he doesn't give a shit about what the people that are gonna. First of all, he's a PR nightmare, but that's his brand. One.
Okay.
Two.
I would just want to hear your response to this.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
I love him.
I know.
Okay, fun fact. I actually did apply for the integrated director of marketing position at Barstool.
I could see you there.
And I wrote a whole ass cover letter.
Don't worry, we'll hire you.
To Miss Peaches.
We'll hire you before.
And it was super clever, and nobody got back to me about it. I'm like, dear Miss Peaches.
I could definitely see you there, 100%.
I think I would be great.
You'll be better at Stay Tranquilo, though.
I need the big. You got the big bucks yet?
It's coming.
I know. I'm making sure of that.
They're coming.
But so Dave's brand is that.
Yeah.
And that's why it works for him. Also, he's made it very clear that he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He cares. The people that think it's funny are the people that he caters to. And if you're not that, he doesn't care. And the thing is that he needs to be careful about continuing to cater to that audience, because his audience, right? The second he says something that might maybe pisses off I don't know, he says some pretty controversial shit about everything.
He does, but his audience seems to rally around it.
I
think he loses some people in the process, because you read the comments.
But he doesn't care.
No, he doesn't care.
Is the thing.
I mean, he also sold his company for $450 million, so maybe the filter's just going to go away.
Mine would. But I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Like, I do think he's
I'm a huge fan, too.
I'm a huge fan of his.
I admire the hell out of him.
And I'll tell you that even when I don't agree with him, I still think he's funny.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think there's something that comes with authenticity, whether with that authenticity comes other things with it that you may not agree with. I think that's fair, but at least, like you said, he stays true to who he is. He seems to not necessarily be a bad person in all of this. Has he done some questionable things? Absolutely, but no one's fucking perfect.
Look at what he does for the
right. I mean, that's a great PR, in my opinion. I don't think
it doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't feel like it, but it obviously helps him.
And that's the trick.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it. Look at this guy.
Authentic. He's authentic as hell.
Keith, the boxer that does the restaurant reviews. He leaves a $4,000 tip everywhere he goes.
Who?
Keith. Isn't that his name?
Maybe. I'm terrible with people.
he's also, I mean, he really doesn't do anything bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, damn, maybe that was a bad example. I just really like him.
But I mean,
he
he's doing
goes to
something right.
restaurants and like
Yeah.
in like everywhere, but in mostly kind of like bad areas in different cities and brings them business.
He's doing something right.
He's doing a lot right. But yeah, to the point of Dave, like you got at a certain point, I think that you have to make a decision, and it's owning your brand, whether it's this or that. And if it's that, then you got to run with it.
I think you
got to know your audience.
Yeah.
You have to know your audience, and he knows his audience.
He's been
and
very
he
true to
it.
who he's been since day one too, and you could see that. And I think, like you said, I think that's where his audience has gravitated to. But I was just curious because he is the definition of controversial, I guess you could say, at some capacity. Yet, he's been able to do it. And I mean, there's other people, I'm not going to mention them because that's a whole other discussion. But
I wonder his take on Taylor Swift and Travis, this whole PR thing that came
I heard that was AI generated.
I wouldn't be, honestly, I've heard so much is AI generated nowadays.
Yeah.
I heard that there
the
was
escape out of everything now?
Like a sniper or something in California that he had the scope backwards and lost his job, some commander.
What?
And that it was apparently AI generated. I don't know, whatever. We got to be really careful with that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. So those type of things I try not to get too deep into.
It's pretty scary.
All right. So before we wrap it up, I want to ask you a couple kind of like rapid fire
Go ahead.
style questions. If you could bring one dish from Miami to New York that you could have whenever you wanted, what would it be?
Lechon. Like a caja china.
Like the actual caja china or
Like
the
the whole
lechon made in the caja
Like the
china?
whole fucking pig.
No, the caja china is the best. I would miss that so much. That's my favorite thing to do. Like, as in terms of like a Cuban tradition, it's the caja china.
Yeah, same.
I could do that like every weekend if I could, honestly.
I could too.
It's a good answer. It's the first time I got that answer. I like that.
I'm hurting.
Huh?
I'm hurting over here. I heard there was gonna be a caja china at a tailgate in Gainesville this weekend.
Was it there?
I didn't smell it. I couldn't find
You
it.
couldn't find it. You're like, shit, it's not here.
I couldn't find it.
That would be good. That would be a
It
cool
would have
thing to
kind
find out
of
there.
helped with the loss, but it's fine.
Yeah, that was a rough loss. I have no comment on that game. I already made my comment about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, we're good. All right. Second question is, what does it mean to stay tranquilo?
I think it means to stay true to yourself and own it. Like, be chill.
I like that. Stay true to yourself. That's true. I agree. I think part of the reason when I started Stay Tranquilo was as I found my identity in all of this, like I felt the most comfortable I could, and I just stopped giving a shit about what anybody else thought in the process. So
And like be at peace with it.
yeah, exactly. It has to start within you. You have to feel comfortable within that own skin, and you're just gonna carry that with you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And how about we do this? On the last question, why don't you ask me a question?
Okay.
Because I feel like you have something.
What has been your favorite interview to date?
Oh, my favorite interview. I couldn't say I have one specific.
Oh, come on.
I can't. I really can't. I don't know if I actually know the answer to that question. I've enjoyed a lot of them. I will say that. One of the cooler experiences, I would say, was actually one that we did recently, which was with the head coach of FIU.
I saw that.
Something about that just kind of, I don't know, hit different, when it has nothing to do with FIU, honestly. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's sports related.
Ooh, wasn't the bald cap?
No, it wasn't the bald cap. Definitely was not the bald cap, even though that was pretty epic
so
by David.
good.
I don't know. Coach Mac just was like, you could tell he's a real dude, authentic, and he's a true leader. Like, you speak to him and you're like, all right, like, I want to learn from this guy,
Okay.
I think there's power in those type of people. There's a reason why they're there in that position. There's a reason why they have a track record of success. So I did like just kind of sit there and kind of be like, damn, I want to really listen to what this guy has to say, because of the wisdom that he has, right? I mean, a lot of the guests too that we have on we're very similar in age, right?
Yeah.
And
I thought you were gonna say Georgie because the wine.
Well, listen, I will say that Georgie has introduced me into some crazy wines in the last couple of weeks.
All I know is that I got home to my Lamello's package
Shout out Lamello's.
yesterday, and I showed
All the way up here in New York.
I showed New York what's up.
You gotta. I mean, if they could see the picture of what you cooked, it looked good. It looked good.
I did get a few how-tos.
Chef of Lamello's right here in New York City.
It's pretty hard to fuck up with Denver, but
You'd be surprised. People will fuck it up. I mean, I think you cooked it to perfection. It was crispy. No, you did good.
I've
Presentation
done it
was
a
nice.
few times.
Presentation was nice.
But yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
you got some good guests, and
We've had some good guests. It is even hard to keep up with all the people that we've had on. You know, I'm sure if I look back,
Victor on the boat, that was cool.
Vic on the boat was amazing. Just that type of environment and being out there was super cool, and getting that shot, it looked amazing on camera because of Pooch over here. But you know, there's a ton, and I think every one of them really does bring. And it sounds cliche and it's basic and safe, whatever you want to call it, but it's true. Every conversation it almost feels like it's my first podcast every time I do one.
That's pretty cool.
And I feel it in the beginning because I'm not like nervous, but like I need to get in a flow when I start talking, and it's every single time, you know? So I don't know. I do think there's like something unique about everybody that I interview. So
Well, I think what you're doing here is pretty unique in that you make,
thank you.
you know, other people shine. It's a pretty
That's my
heavy
goal.
weight to bear, and you do a great job doing it, both of you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate it, and we're having fun doing it, and we're in New York doing it now, which is pretty freaking dope. And we're gonna do a couple of them, but first two right here. Look at that. We made it happen out here. It was just pretty crazy. Who would have guessed, you know? But thank you again for real
Thank
for
you.
making this all happen, and thank you for the hospitality, and thank you for showing us around New York.
Let's go eat more pizza.
Let's get some pizza. Absolutely. All right, guys. See you later. Cheers.